have to admit, sometimes, even though I'm the one up here and I'm leading it, I kind of forget and take off. It's like, Mike, you need to come back to the room because you got something to do. It's like, okay. Oh, so I'm super, super excited about what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. For many, many years, I have had this part of me that's calling me back and calling me back and calling me back. And it feels like it's been this thought that has been tapping me on the shoulder, and it keeps telling me, Mike, go back to the basics, go back to the basics, go back to the basics. And it's just been something that has been happening over the past couple of years. And it's really coming back to really what the heart of the unity movement is, which is unity. For those who don't know, it started off, it was a healing ministry. That's what it was. And we're going to talk about that in this series. But it's something that I've just been feeling like, yeah, let's go back there. I'm also, it almost feels like, to me, it's like, I feel like Charles and Myrtle Fillmore are literally tapping me on the shoulder and saying, go back, go back, go back. And so as I think about that and I feel it, it's just really becoming strong with me. And what I'd like to do is be able to share with you some of the things that we've been talking about here in terms of healing. And that's when I came up with the title, Awakening the Healer Within. Because every single one of you, every single person has something inside of them which is capable of healing yourself. Everybody does. It's not like it's missing. It's not like, well, I know, Mike, but everybody else has this but me. That's not the case. Simply just not the case. And so it's this idea of awakening this part of you and having those conversations. And so as we began this process of talking about it, I've talked to several of you, but I really want to give a little shout out to Sharon. So we started having some talks over the summer about this idea of, let's go back. Let's actually start doing it. Let's start having some of these conversations. And I did talk to other people, so it's not like Sharon was the only one, but that is really what the impetus of getting this thing going is starting to have these conversations. And then the thought started to progress, and then we decided last fall, hey, why don't we actually put together a class on healing and start to have those conversations? And so what happened is we had a brave handful of souls that came in, and we started talking about healing. And as you know, healing means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right? And as a result, the conversations were amazing. They were incredible. They were lively. And the thing that was really cool about it was we actually found out that we have several people that are sitting right here, right now, that actually do healing work. So for example, I found out that Sharon has a Reiki practice, and there's other Reiki practitioners in here right now. Joy Morgan has a healing practice that she does, and she works with people as well. And there are several other people that have several different healing modalities that they use to work with people. How cool is that? That right amongst us, we've got people that actually do this kind of work. And we're starting to get to know them a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And as we continue to find out your little secret that you actually do this stuff, I'm going to encourage you to please let somebody know, because you just never know who might need some help, depending on what's going on and what they're doing, right? And so it's super cool to be able to sit around and talk to people that are actually doing this work and then to actually do something about it. In fact, what we're going to be doing is next Sunday, for those of you that don't know, after the service, we're going to have a healing service. It's going to be the very first one we've had. We're going to do it on a monthly basis. So I want you to imagine after the service, what we're going to do is we're going to create a circle, an inner circle where everybody is looking out. Those are the people that are coming in to be healed, that are looking for some type of a healing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a great big circle around them. And then that's where we're going to have everybody that wants to show up. And it doesn't matter if you know what you're doing or not, you know what you're doing. And I'm going to guide people through. And what we are going to do is we are going to zap them. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do this every single month. And we're going to keep playing with it. And we're going to keep playing with it and keep playing with it. My opinion is Jesus wasn't messing around where he said where two or more are gathered. And my opinion is, and I've experienced this, is when you get a handful of people together with the intent to help and to support and to love, that we can get this baby cooking with energy. And you can share that with people. And when you do that, really cool things happen. So whether you are looking for a healing or whether you would consider participating as a helper, please come join us next Sunday. That would be super cool to do that. So that's the kind of fun things that we're going to be doing, is going back to the basics, and we're going to start talking about healing. Healing is just one of the things that I've realized as we go through this healing process or talking about healing, is that for my own self, on a personal level, what I've realized is throughout my own journey, the truth is healing is always happening. How many people realize that there's always something going on physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? I think people think of healing, they think of one dimension. They think of physical. Well, something broke down, something's not going well. Not my experience at all. Not mine, because mine, I'm realizing there's times when there's something emotionally coming up, spiritually coming up, mentally coming up. So to me, healing really is on 4 different levels. And because of the fact that it's on 4 different levels, it kind of keeps you busy, right? There's a lot going on. It's undeniable, like how much healing, for me anyway, is going on. Like there's always something that's coming up. There's always something coming to the surface. My own personal belief is, favorite quote from Eckhart Tolle is that when we go through as children, stuff we take on, and in some cases that can be some type of trauma, and that in order to release it, as the saying goes, if it went in with pain, it's coming out with pain. And that's the way that the healing process works. And as the more I do my own healing journey, the more that I just never quite realized like how much healing is constantly going on. And I got to believe that I'm not the only one. My own opinion is I think that all of us come down here to do some type of healing work. It just depends, and it looks much, much, much different for each and every one of us. So I thought about that, and then I also think about the different things that Jesus did. You know, Jesus actually, if you look in the Bible, he performed 37 different miracles around healing. His ministry was huge in terms of his healing abilities. So again, I'm sharing this with you to say that like it's healing is the huge part of this, and that's the part that I want to share with you this morning. So a few of the things that I'm just going to share with you are my own awarenesses, and these are some of the topics that came up during this healing class that we had and shared together. And here's some things that we learned together as a group of people, and that is, first of all, the majority of us are here to heal something. And for some, that can be a lot of things to heal. And for others, maybe it's just a little. Maybe you're blessed and this lifetime has been no big deal, kind of a piece of cake, little things here and there, but generally pretty easy. That was not what I signed up for. I don't know why, but that was not my experience this lifetime. And that's okay too, though, by the way, because I really do believe that it's perfect. Like I said, it can look like a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But one of the things I love to do is I love to think about it when this stuff shows up, is I say to myself, what if, when something shows up in our life, instead of looking at it and going into panic and going into fear and going into desperation and going into woe is me, why can't I do this? Why is this showing up? Blah, 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 blah. Anybody ever been there? Okay, I better see everybody's hand going up. But instead of doing, if you think about it that way, then, okay, then you're going to have that experience, which is I'm a victim, woe is me, and all this other stuff like that. Or I have found it to be much more gentle just to tell myself, like, how cool. Like, there's genuinely something here that my soul wanted to learn. And this thing is showing up for me to go through this so that I can learn it. And that takes away all the fear, all the judgment, all the shame, all the guilt, all the blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I can look at myself compassionately and think, hey, dude, like, this is your journey. This is what you wanted to learn. But I don't do it from a place of anger. I don't do it from a place of fear. I don't do it from a place of judgment, shame, guilt, all the stuff. And then all of a sudden I just have this massive compassion for myself as I go through these different things. And here's the crazy part is what I've noticed is that when I come from it like that, the time it takes me from whatever it is that's showing up until I'm through the other side, it goes a lot quicker, a lot quicker. Just a little comment about that. I like it a lot quicker. I like it a lot quicker. I used to have to feel like, oh my God, I'm going to sit here for the next, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. How many ever have one of those? We've had, yeah, I've had a few of those. Whew. Why? Why? Honestly, I think healing is just honestly looking at whatever is showing up for you and going, hey, there's something here for me to learn. And if I just learn it, and again, without shame, blame, guilt, or judgment, and I can just honestly tap into my soul and going, what am I really trying to learn here? What is a lesson for me? And then my experience is that once I learn the lesson, it's not like God is going to hold you in this flame and wait for you to burn. That's not what it's about. It's about, oh my God. So I came down here. I wanted to learn this thing. I slowed down. Are you hearing me? You slow down and you look at it and you just go in and you go like, what's here for me, God? Like on a soul level, what am I here to learn? And then all of a sudden, like you kind of tap in and you go, oh, I got it. I think this is it. Hey, God, I think that it's trying to show me this. And I think if I can make a few adjustments and do this thing a little bit differently that I've been doing, I think I've got the lesson. And by the way, God, if that's not the lesson, could you bring it to me a little bit closer because I can't see it? And I notice when I do that, instead of all of the other garbage that normally goes along with it, that the path and the road is so much smoother, it's so much easier, and so much better. And that's been my experience. What are some other things that we learned? That I haven't done anything wrong. How many times when something happens in your life and you come down with something, an illness or something blows up, where you start beating yourself up and go, my God, I screwed this up again, right? You've not done anything wrong. Nothing. You are flawlessly perfect. There was a reason for this stuff showing up. All that's happening is you're just asking to learn a lesson. That was it. That's it. And then all of a sudden you don't, no shame, blame, guilt, or judgment. Like, oh, I can do it without shame, blame, guilt, or judgment? Yes, you can do it without it. Those are outdated modes of transformation that you don't have to use anymore if you don't want to use them, right? I'm not being punished ever. I'm going to say this again. You are not being punished ever. Ever, ever, ever. That's not what this is about at all. What else? I'm not a victim. When you can look at what's going on in your life and say that you're not a victim ever, it changes the way that you show up. Totally. Because if I show up as a victim, then woe is me. There's nothing I can do at it. This sucks. I suck. Life sucks. God sucks. You don't have to do that. You can come from a different space. You can come from a different energy. You can come from your power as a divine being that you are. And when you can show up like that, things change, and they change quickly. They change quickly. That whatever is here, that whatever's happening to me is here to help me, not to hurt me. That's the purpose of it, right? Again, on a deeper level, my soul's wanting to experience something, learn something, or remember something. That whatever is showing up is really a gift to be received, not a curse or a punishment to be rejected or denied. By the way, I just want to say this. I didn't get to this like overnight. It's taken a while to get here. So if you're looking at this going, I think this dude's crazy, I get it. I get it. But what I'm promising you is if you start to practice some of the stuff that we do here, you'll get to the point to where you can really look at the stuff in that way, right? What else? Every time I go through a healing, that on the other side of it, I come out bigger, better version of myself, and that I've grown and I've expanded. And guess what? Every single one of us came down here to grow and to expand and to remember. That's what we're doing down here, folks. That's the gig on the spiritual level, right? So when I talk about healing, I'm going to start off with the definition, which just says, health is a state of being, this is from Plato, a state of being whole, hearty, sound in all phases of your being, your spirit, soul, body, and affairs. In our class, what I mentioned was this idea of health, starting off with this thought of we're energy, And we all know that we're energy. And if we are energy, then what happens is energy likes to do what? It likes to move. And when you're healthy, it means that energy is not blocked. In other words, you're wide open. It flows, it comes, it goes, it moves, it does what it needs to do. And as long as we can stay out of it and keep our noses out of the process and the way that energy flows, then guess what? Then all of a sudden, we stay healthy. But that's not always the case, is it? No. Why? Oh my God, this is happening. This is it. This is terrible. I've got this. I got that. All this stuff comes up. So when we have sickness or disease, dis-ease, right? Many of us have heard that. The energy's not flowing or it's stuck. Something is happening, right? It's caused from a block in the flow of energy. That's what sickness and disease is. And healing is about removing any blocks or flow of energy so the system can return to its natural state of health. That's what healing is. That's what it's about, right? So many of you know this story, that the whole foundation of Unity came from what Myrtle Fillmore went through. And I thought it would be cool to have some of you who aren't familiar with Myrtle's story, well, to kind of hear it directly from her, what she went through.
And would later reject the teachings of her strict religious parents. Ever since she was a little girl, Myrtle had been sick. At a young age, she contracted tuberculosis. For many years, she believed she was incurably weak and sickly.
I had all the ills of mind and body that I could bear. Medicine and doctors ceased to give me relief, and I was in despair.
That was until Myrtle discovered new spiritual ideas and principles we now call Unity. The year was 1886, and Myrtle was in her early 40s. She and her husband Charles attended a lecture by metaphysician Dr. E.E. Weeks of Chicago. Myrtle left the talk with a stronger faith and an understanding of her innate divine potential for healing through affirmative prayer.
It flashed upon me that I might talk to the light in every part of my body and have it do just what I wanted. I began to teach my body and got marvelous results.
Instead of seeing her body as weak, inefficient, and diseased, she began speaking words of strength and power to every part of her body.
Why are you doing that?
And the heart.
I didn't get discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but kept right on, both silently and aloud, declaring words of truth until they did respond. And neither did I forget to tell them that they were free, unlimited spirit. I told them they were the centers of life and energy, omnipresent.
Myrtle began regularly affirming,
I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness.
By repeating this affirmation, Myrtle believed she was going to get better. And 2 years later, she did. In 1888, she was healed of the tuberculosis condition that had threatened her life. Myrtle remained committed to blessing and encouraging her life with true thoughts and words.
I became very watchful as to what I thought and said. I didn't let any worried or anxious thoughts into my mind. And I stopped speaking gossipy, frivolous, petulant, angry words.
Myrtle was excited by her healing discovery, and so were her family and friends. She began working with others in need of healing. In time, her husband Charles Fillmore began his own practice of prayer and meditation. He began to heal from an ice skating accident he had at age 10. In 1889, inspired by Myrtle's transformation, the Fillmores founded the Unity Movement in Kansas City, Missouri, as a healing ministry based on the power of prayer and the power of thoughts to create reality. In 1890, the couple pioneered prayer outreach that grew into Silent Unity, the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week prayer ministry that still serves the world today.
I want everybody to know about this beautiful, true law and to use it. It is not a new discovery, but when you use it and get the fruits of health and harmony, it will seem new to you, and you will feel that it is your own discovery.
Her work lives on through Silent Unity and the inspiring manuscripts and personal papers in the Myrtle Fillmore collection at the Unity Library and Archives. The collection is being digitized for online access. To learn more or help support this effort, visit unity.org.
Even when Myrtle transitioned, she was so aware of what's going on. She literally told everybody. She went and she packed up all of her stuff. She knew what was going on, and she told everybody, "Hey, it's time. I'm done." And 2 weeks later, she passed. She was that consciously aware that her time and her space was done, and it was time for her to move on. And so it's just fascinating when you start this path or this thought or this idea that you can be that connected to your own soul that you would even know something like that. And instead of having it be everything that it can potentially be towards the end of life, it can actually be something that's very simple and yet very profound and yet very powerful. So I've got about another 25 minutes worth of stuff that I am not going to get to because maybe I talk a little bit more than sometimes I prepare for. Well, yeah, I don't know, you name it. It could be some type of a healing, so it could be a physical thing. It could be some type of, again, to me, it's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So there's all different types of ways that things can show up. I just went through a tremendous thing that there was something that I went through as a child, and I thought that I had processed it. I thought I was done with it. So in other words, there was some trauma that I went through as a child, and I thought that I had went and looked at this and I was done with it. And about a month and a half ago, something came up and it was like, whoosh, the pain that was in there was super intense. And it was like, what is going on? And it wound up being a part of me that I didn't even know existed. And the pain was incredible. And what I will tell you is that it cracked me open at such a level, and I was able to heal as a result of it. It's hard for me to explain it other than to tell you that there was trauma that hadn't been released, and it showed up, and it knocked me on my rear end for about a week and a half or 2 weeks, but I was able to finally understand it. I could finally see it and fully understand it. It was beautiful because my experiences with the healing is when it's time to heal, like it's painful. There is that side of it, but if you've been through this, then you'll understand exactly what I'm going to say. Is that what happens is you get cracked open. Well, when you get cracked open, not only is that stuff coming out, but here's the cool part: if you can just calm down and relax, is light is coming in. Light, information, knowledge, growth, expansion. And it's like this door, this window is open, but the window is only open for a very short amount of time. And if you can just hang in there and just be with it. And for me, what did that look like? It looked like 40 pages in a journal. And the insights were profound to me, what I learned in that process, not only letting go of the pain, but then also the wisdom that I got as a result of being cracked open and allowing myself to receive the messages that I was meant to learn. Beyond profound, beyond profound. And so it can look like a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can be a physical healing, something showing up as a sickness or a disease or something like that. But again, it could be that to me was an emotional. There was something emotional that I needed to release that I'd never released before. And it was time to release it. So it was like, okay, cool. Well, I guess I'm going to release it. And so that's when I was saying earlier that to me, healing is a 24/7 process. It never stops. It never stops. And so there are times, without getting too heavy, because with healing, normally it means pain, right? But I'm going to tell you that my pain is a lot less than it used to be. If I would have went through that thing that I just went through a couple of weeks ago, I'm telling you right now, if that would have happened 20 years ago, I would have been stuck in that stuff for years. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that. You are looking at a much different guy than you were looking at 20 years ago. And so because of the fact that I was able to actually be with the pain, not run or hide from the pain, but understand this is exactly what my soul needed to do to heal. And then all of a sudden the window opens up, all the information is coming in, I'm letting go of the emotional pain, I'm growing, then I'm able to move through it. And so it was one of the most powerful things I've gone through, and the whole process lasted about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I was done. I am crystal clear, feeling better than I've ever felt. I feel like I'm a totally different person. I do. I feel like I'm a completely different person. And so we're going to be talking about this stuff over the next couple of weeks. How long is it going to last? I don't know. In terms of how many sessions, But I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. There's going to be much, much, much more to learn. If you're interested in any of this stuff, come and talk to me because we do have a monthly group that's meeting. We're going to be doing the Healing Circle next week. We'd love to have you be a part of that, whether you need healing or if you got a friend or a family member you want to bring in, bring them. We're going to get this place rocking. It is going to be cooking in here. So, okay. Thank you for coming this morning. I hope there's something that you can walk away with and something touched your heart and something made you maybe remember something. But just know how much you are loved, how much you're appreciated, how much you're needed, each and every one of you. Your light is so bright and shining, and we are blessed to have you here this morning. So thank you. And I really hope as you go through this day, you remember that because you're pretty special people, and we are really lucky to have you here this morning. God bless. Namaste. Namaste.
Hey, it's Reverend Mike here. I just wanted to stop for a moment before you get on with your day and thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. It means the world to us, and I just wanted to let you know if there's anything that we can do to make your experience even better, please do not hesitate to reach out by going to our website. I also wanted to offer you the opportunity for us to get together and sit down so I could get to know you a little bit better and answer any questions that you have. I can either do that by either getting together in person, have a cup of coffee, or we can meet online via Zoom. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at michael@courage2thrive.com. And lastly, if you find these messages are helping you, we would be tremendously grateful if you'd consider donating to the center. The best and the easiest way to do that is simple. Just go to our website. Again, thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're doing well. God bless, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.